For Around the Ozarks in 5, brought to you by Adventure Cave Tours. Live a day in the life of a real adventurer with Adventure Cave Tours. And the Springfield Greene County Park Board, reminding you to go play. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Forhead.
Hey, good morning. It is Thursday. Hope you're doing well on this Thursday. We're doing well and ready to get at it. So let's do some news.
All right. A 20-year-old man from West Plains is behind bars for attacking a Walmart worker on Tuesday morning after the worker confronted him about stealing from the store. West Plains police say they eventually picked up Cooper Clayton for the crime, 20 years old, after he left the scene. He's now facing a host of serious charges. The Walmart employee was left with minor injuries. Scary, nonetheless. A nurse from Cape Girardeau who was caught stealing fentanyl at the hospital where she worked has been sentenced to 3 years of probation, plus 200 hours of community service, a $5,000 fine, and random drug test. 35-year-old Lindsay Francis got caught with a used syringe at work and said she'd used it due to work and personal stress.
That's sad. Gets a hold of people. That's for sure. Congratulations to Bass Pro Shops and O'Reilly Automotive, two great companies here in the Ozarks. They both just made Newsweek's list of America's best retailers in 2023. Yeah. Customers were surveyed for the report based on 5 criteria: products, customer service, atmosphere, accessibility, shop layout, as well as the likelihood of recommendations to other customers, from customers to other customers. Both Bass Pro and O'Reilly's were number 1 in their categories of camping and outdoor gear, and then auto supplies. So that's really impressive. And they're both headquartered in Springfield, Missouri, of all places.
Wow. I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, great companies for sure. Should Branson continue to add fluoride to its water? The city wants residents to weigh in on that question. Branson is doing that asking for input for the next 90 days. Then the Board of Aldermen will take a vote on it in November. You could submit your opinion in person at the Aldermen's meeting on November 14th, or you can email them and be done with it. Public comment at bransonmo.gov is the email address. Public comment at bransonmo.gov. Fluoride has been in the water there since 1992, but it's time to replace the equipment for it. So they just want to know if, because there's controversy around that in some towns over the past several years.
Right.
So they want to know if citizens don't want it, then they're not going to spend the money to replace that technology and do something else.
Right. All right. The Springfield's metro unemployment rate rose month over month in June, similar to what the state did as well. In the Springfield area, including Greene, Christian, Webster, Polk, and Dallas counties, unemployment was at 2.9% during June. That's up from 2.6% in May. For the state unemployment rate in June was 3.3%, up from 2.9% in May. So similar pattern there between the state and our specific area. All right. Good news for parents during these days of high inflation right now that we all feel. Missouri's annual sales tax holiday, which gives taxpayers a little bit of a break from state sales tax on back to school supplies, is also going to now get to include city and county taxes. As you know, in the past, many cities and counties opted out of the sales tax holiday, meaning they still charged it. Now they don't have the option. So there is no sales tax at all, starting tomorrow, the 4th, going through Sunday on all things school supplies, clothing, computers, electronics, anything you might need.
As you know, I'm a big fan of this because it really bothers me every year when so many cities and counties just refuse to give people a break. It's like 3 days out of the whole year for people who are hardworking. They got to spend $1 million to buy all the stuff that that they have to have for their kids, for different schools, different classes, all the clothes, all the computer. Well, they don't have to buy the computers, but all the equipment, all the stuff they need. And it's tough. It's tough on people. It's expensive. So I love that the state says, you know what? You deserve a break for 3 days. It's not long. we're going to give you a break. You don't have to pay the taxes, and we'll be okay. I wish more cities and counties would do that on their own to give their residents a break, but now they're mandated to do it, so it's happening. So I'm glad. I think people will be happy to save the money, and they're hardworking taxpayers. They deserve to save some money.
Right.
All right. That's my soapbox. Thank you for listening. The FBI just announced a sting operation that recovered more than 200 victims of human trafficking across the country. This is unbelievable. During the 2-week operation, the agency found 59 victims of child sex trafficking and 59 missing children. Think about that. Think about if that was your child. I mean, the feds also identified or arrested 126 child abusers, along with 68 human traffickers. Although they were not clear on how many they actually arrested versus how many they just identified. So those numbers are, they lumped in for some reason the people they arrested and the people they identified. So there could be a huge number that they identified that they didn't actually arrest. I wish they'd tell us the real number, but they didn't. This comes as the movie Sound of Freedom is shining a spotlight on sex trafficking and getting a lot of attention for doing so. So bravo.
Yeah. This is interesting. Artificial intelligence apparently was smarter than a human recently. A new study showed that AI detected more breast cancers than doctors did who had years of experience under their belt. Right. Now to this part, I don't know if this is good or bad, but the study apparently says that AI could potentially cut doctors' mammogram reading workload almost in half. So, in the study of 80,000 women, the group whose scans were read by AI found 20% more cancers than the group without AI assistance.
Really? That's interesting.
It is interesting.
I was talking to a doctor friend of mine recently about jobs and AI and that sort of thing. And he was telling me that in his estimation, the best job there is a diagnostic radiologist. So it's people who do what this AI just did, but they can do it from anywhere. He was telling me. He said these days, so he has a friend who lives in Montana, bought a place in Montana, works 8 hours a day, finishes by like noon, and has the rest of the day in Montana. But he does it from home, so he gets an alert whenever a hospital somewhere or a doctor's office sends a scan, whatever it is. He's got to look at a CAT scan, and he looks at it, and then sends them his expert opinion, and they go on and deal with it. And he's still at his house and just looks at the next picture. So that's a fantastic. I was told my kids that they should be diagnostic radiologists, but now I'm a little concerned that AI is going to be doing the job of a diagnostic radiologist. But I wonder if that job won't even exist. Surely there's got to be something that is that experience counts for, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. If you keep reading, it says, not that they're going to be replaced or anything. Of
course not.
But
nothing to see here.
Right, nothing to see here. So, I don't know. But that is obviously for the patient, that's a huge win, right? 20% more cancers. And it was a big 80,000 women. That's a lot. That's in my mind, a fairly sizable group. So,
well, as long as it's not somehow missing anything on the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's getting all of them, great. If it's getting some more than it did earlier or something, but then missing other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm considering going back to school to be a diagnostic radiologist because I'd like to live in Montana and be off by noon.
It would be Montana that you'd choose?
I don't know. That's where this guy is. But it sounded pretty nice. His lifestyle sounded pretty nice.
Well,
the story I was given.
I know for a fact that you want me by your side. And I say we can do better than Montana.
Well, I say, how about this? You go back and become a diagnostic radiologist, and I'll just live wherever you want to live.
All right. You know where I want to live? In Breckenridge.
Colorado, yeah.
On the top of the mountain so that I can just grab my snowboard and go.
Well, you could also do that at the bottom of the mountain. They got a lift.
And I also, sorry, while we're on the kick, I would also like a personal chef. I don't need a personal trainer. I like to train myself. I love it, but I don't like to cook, as it turns out. And you could cook for me, but I would rather you go snowboarding with me.
Well, then you better get to diagnosing radiologically, because that isn't going to pay for itself.
Okay.
All right. St. Louis Cardinals made another trade this week, right at the trade deadline. They're, again, attempting to not be as awful as they are. They traded shortstop Paul DeYoung to the Toronto Blue Jays in exchange for another minor leaguer, this time a pitcher. The Cardinals made some other moves with the Blue Jays that we told you about over the weekend. Most of what the Cardinals got out of any trades that they made were minor leaguers. So that kind of just goes to show you that the front office has decided that this year doesn't matter, and we're going to try to improve for next year, which is not the Cardinal way. That is not the Cardinal way. So I'm unhappy with it. I'm perplexed by it, and it bothers me because they just don't want to spend any money.
Well,
the front office doesn't want to spend money, and I wouldn't either if I were them. But you can't take the fans for granted. Once the fans start pulling back, but the Cardinals fans are such great fans and they love baseball, they want to be there. So it's tough.
All right, now to this. Did you hear about a big victory for Taco Bell? It can now use the phrase Taco Tuesday. How about that? That after Taco John's, which had owned the trademark on the phrase since 1989, agreed to share it, including to arch rival Taco Bell. Isn't that interesting? Taco John's writing in a statement, "We're lovers, not fighters," after Taco Bell went to court over the issue. Taco Bell said in a statement, "When tacos win, we all win."
That's big of Taco John's because they did own it. I mean,
right. That's huge.
They had the trademark and now they're sharing it. So,
I'll support my local Taco John's for that move if ever there were one here.
Are they out of Oklahoma? I know they're in Oklahoma.
I don't know. Honestly, Taco Bueno is what most Oklahomans go to, at least in my part. I think Julie, our good friend Julie, she's a Taco John's fan. And she's
Kansas deal?
Was in Kansas. Yep.
Maybe that's a Kansas deal. Okay. Yeah,
I think, isn't it her? I think Clay and Julie are the ones who introduced us to it because they like the potatoes, the potato, almost like hash browns. What are they called? I don't know.
I don't think we ever went there though, did we?
Miniature hash browns. I think we did.
I never ate there, I don't think.
Apparently it didn't make an impression on you, but I think we did once.
Well, if we did, it didn't.
All right. One more story, by the way. Meanwhile, Taco Bell is the target of a lawsuit by a man who wasn't happy that the food he opened when he got home from Taco Bell didn't look like it does on the commercial, specifically the crunch wraps and Mexican pizzas. You know what? I'm with you, sir. I
feel his pain.
But I wouldn't sue for it. So there's that. He's claiming false advertising in his class action lawsuit, and he wants $500 in damages for each item purchased.
I've often wondered about that because a lot of times whenever they shoot pictures or video of food for a commercial, it's not even food ingredients that they put on there. Like it's paint and it's wax for cheese and crazy stuff, which is completely false, right? That isn't true.
I mean, yeah, but are you suing anybody for? I don't know.
I might jump on this fella's bandwagon on his it's a
$1,000.
It's a class action suit.
Yeah.
I could get in on that. Well, I just would like it to be fair. Try to make the food look like it's going to look like whenever you send me home with it.
Right. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Is that so hard?
Fair enough. Okay. Don't forget the Jordan Valley Ice Park passes giveaway from the Springfield Greene County Park Board. They are one of our sponsors here at ATO. We love them, and we are thankful that they are giving away a 4-pack pass of passes, which includes your admission to Jordan Valley Ice Park and all the rentals. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great because it's nice and cool in there right about now.
Dude, it's so hot. Go to aroundtheozarks.com, subscribe to the podcast, which will send it to your inbox, as well as Abby Dyer's Wake Up Weather, which has been great. And then there's like Ned has something. There's other people, other podcasts that are really good.
Talk sports, yeah.
The calendar I told you about yesterday, which is fantastic to see what's happening around the Ozarks, as it were. See what we did there. Anyway, so subscribe and be entered into the drawing. And thank you to the park board, reminding you to go play.
Go play. Yeah. We love the park board. We got married in one of the Springfield parks.
We were the first, just for the record.
Yeah, you say that. Are you sure of that? I know you say that a lot.
No, we were the first because at the time they were like, I was like, well, what is the charge? And they're like, well, I don't know. We've never had anyone do that before.
Yeah.
And it was Jody Adams. It was Jody Adams. She's lovely.
I know you say that.
And she was like, yeah, no. I mean, unless there was someone that she didn't know about, but she was the director.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not confident enough.
There were toilets there. So that's another reason why I think, we're probably the first, because if you have to write on your invitation, please pee before you come to the wedding, most people aren't going to be willing to do that. But I'm not very formal or fancy.
Yeah, that's not quite as classy as most weddings try to be
these days.
Where did we get married? Close Memorial Park.
Where did we get married? Is that what you just said?
Well, there's like 3 parks. There's 3 parks there.
In the Hosta Garden, a week after an ice storm that happened in April, which was crazy timing.
The ice storm damaged a lot of trees prior to that. Yeah.
So anyway.
Yes, Close Memorial Park and the Hosta Garden there, which is beautiful. We were just back there not too long ago.
Yeah.
What were we doing there? Just walking around, family stuff?
Hanging out with the kids. Yeah. I mean, it's way more done up now than it was when we got married.
It is.
But no regrets. It's the best decision of my life, sans Jesus.
Well, you could probably attribute all of that makeup stuff to us for putting it on their radar.
Yeah, there you go.
But it was cool because people were in the park and they would just stop and watch the wedding.
It was great. Ethan cried like a baby. It was great. It's true. He's a softie, people. He's a softie.
I'm a softie.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Wrap us up. Get us out of here.
Come on. You get us out of here. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather. Here's your host, Abby Dyer.
Good morning. It is Thursday and it is going to be hot. It's hot already on this Thursday morning. We have temperatures starting out in the upper 70s early today, a warm start when it's nearly 80 degrees in the morning. It's not good news for the afternoon. That's where we're at today. I have a high temperature of 100 degrees today. So on the agenda, put a way to cool off if you have to spend any time outdoors. It's going to be a hot one. That is for sure. Now, northern counties waking up with a bit of cloud cover, leftover rain showers from some of the strong storms and heavy rain overnight. I think for the most part, though, on this Thursday, we are dry, just hot and humid and really windy. Don't underestimate the wind today. I think we'll have gusts well over 20 miles an hour. So it might feel kind of nice, actually, if you can catch some shade. There will be a bit of a breeze out there this afternoon, and we need it with a high temperature forecast of 100. Very hot to end the work week, not just today with the heat headlines and the heat advisory, but also tomorrow. I have upper 90s that stick around for Friday. Summer's not over yet. I know. Everybody's starting to talk about fall. I don't know why everyone's starting to do that, but we're starting to talk about school starting, fall. It certainly feels like summer, though, here in the Ozarks, so soak it up. The overall setup here that we've had going, there's this frontal boundary that's been draped across the center of the country. We're on the hot side of that. unfortunately, the hot and muggy side. And it's going to be windy out there today as well. It'll be drawing in some moisture, and we'll take advantage of that moisture over the weekend forecast with a very unsettled weather pattern. But today we're on the warm side of that front, and I have temperatures approaching the triple digits for most in the Ozarks today. The only exception here, up near Lake of the Ozarks, places in our far northeastern counties, if you got the rain and storms overnight, you're holding on to a bit more cloud cover today, and that should keep your temperature down a little bit. Still upper 80s, near 90, even if you have the cloud cover out this morning. As we get closer to the weekend, I have very unsettled weather that's back into the forecast. In fact, conditions are going to be just kind of stormy for several days in a row. I have a cold front then that's going to push through at the end of the weekend. This happens late Sunday into Monday, and Monday of next week, you and I are going to be talking about some much cooler weather in the Ozarks. Look at the long range charts. Now, there have been some variations in this, but overall models really indicating that that big ridge of high pressure is going to flatten out as we head into the weekend and early next week. It allows our highs to drop to the 80s. Lows back to the 60s. We haven't had that in quite a while. It's going to feel much, much nicer. And we cut some of the humidity out of the air next week too. So it's going to feel much, much nicer, but we kind of got to sweat it out all the way through the weekend. In fact, some models indicating that we could stay in the triple digits even through the weekend forecast. High temperatures today, pretty brutal at 100 degrees. Not much of a rain chance through the course of the afternoon, about a 10% chance for some showers and thunderstorms. Winds, though, strong, as I mentioned. They'll turn out of the west this afternoon. Winds will be gusty today, and I'm expecting that we hold on to that strong southwest wind. It's going to push our temperatures up into the 90s over the next several days. And then there's the relief that you can see Monday and Tuesday of next week. That's when temperatures fall back into the mid 80s. I know we're all looking forward to that big temperature drop. All right, here is a look at the Wake Up Weather Brain Twister question. So this is the question from yesterday. And the question was, it was how tall on average was a velociraptor? And I know many of us kind of use Jurassic Park as like at least I do. I think about that movie and I'm thinking, okay, those seemed pretty big, pretty vicious. So a lot of folks over guessing here. The answer, how tall on average was a velociraptor? The answer is A, 1.5 feet. Can you believe that? And it is true. If you Googled it, you would see that the average size of a velociraptor that we know of was 1.6 feet. It was a small to medium-sized dinosaur. Adults could measure between 5 and 7 feet long. So that's more of like the Jurassic Park range. That is the adult. But when you average them all, and many are young, the average 1.6. I feel like that movie kind of misled us all because we all guessed it was bigger. But an adult is 5 to 6 feet. I mean, honestly, I still wouldn't want to meet one that's 1.5 feet because that could do some damage as well. But what's with 1.5 feet? Like a rooster? Size of a rooster? I don't know. All right, here's the weather quiz question for tomorrow. Which of the following letters does not appear on the periodic table of elements? Do you think it's W, Z, J, or V? Now you're thinking back to that chart like, okay, what letter don't I see? Which one of these does not appear on the periodic table of elements? Take your guess. You can do that over on the Around the Ozarks Facebook page. I'll have the answer for you early tomorrow morning. Find a way to stay cool today. It's going to be a hot one, windy, and if you need weather up to the date all day long, we've got you covered over at aroundtheozarks.com. I will chat with you tomorrow morning. I hope everybody stays cool, and we will talk again tomorrow. Thanks for listening.